who does good things and represents a wonderful organization. Please welcome James Koshiba of Kanu Hawaii.
Thank you, Maya. Mahalo to the panelists. Mahalo to Matt for moderating. I will be brief. I know I'm standing between you and perhaps more food and certainly action taking. But let me just say a couple of quick words. First is that I'm honored to be here, grateful to be part of this event. Kanu Hawaii is not an education-focused organization. I'm here and we're here because we believe in people power. We believe in people leading the change by being the change. And we love supporting HEM, HE'e, the other organizations that are part of this, OPS, because they share that same philosophy of empowering people to make that change happen. Let me just say a few acknowledgements that I think need to be said. First, to Kapiolani Community College and the culinary program in particular, thank you for having us. Thank you to participant media. Both participant media and Kapiolani Community College made it possible to give those gift bags out. There's about 200 of them, we're about 100 short. That's a good segue into the action piece because part of what's in the bag, in addition to a copy of Waiting for Superman, is a $20 gift card to donorschoose.org. For those of you who aren't familiar with donorschoose.org, teachers post up projects. You can donate directly to support their projects. I checked just before I came up, there's about 30 Hawaii-based projects that are listed. You can pick a project, donate directly, and support schools that way. There's a whole menu of actions in your bag. In addition to that, I'll let you take the time to look through it. And lastly, I'd just like to remind folks to visit with the nonprofits here. I've done a lot of tabling at events, and I can tell you what you hope is that someone comes and spends enough time with you to share your message, at least one person, to change one person, get one person to take action. So I want to honor their commitment and encourage folks to circle through there before we leave. I guess I just want to finish with this thought. I had some prepared remarks and some thoughts about action steps, and I kind of threw it all out the window as I was listening to folks talk because I was inspired by what the panelists had to say. I'm most inspired by the fact that there are 300 people here who care enough about education to have turned out and stayed on a weeknight, taking time out of their busy schedule away from their families to address this issue. So I'm inspired. I'm also deeply concerned. And here's why. I'm concerned that we, as a group, we as the people who've turned out for this event to start this new beginning, are not prepared for the enormity of the challenge in front of us. Haven't really stopped to consider the seriousness of the challenge ahead. And here's what I mean. I'd actually planned to come up and talk about 3 action steps that we have at our Kanu Hawaii booth. One was to donate to Donors Choose. The other was to host a talk story session with friends or family about this event tonight. And the third is to call your representative and advocate for policies that put student learning first. Okay, and I think those are all great, critical, important action steps, but I'm concerned they're not going to be enough. Okay, I'm concerned we're going to do too little and we're going to be too late after tonight. I'm concerned that we're going to be too late for the kindergartner who's starting school a little bit behind his classmates. I'm concerned we're going to be too late for the junior who's applying to college this year. I'm concerned we're going to be too late for the graduate who is competing for jobs against other folks from other places. And what I think we need to do, I include myself in this we, is consider 3 things. 3 things we need to be better at. The first, as the panelists mentioned, is that we need to raise our expectations. I mean, how many of you are now or have been in a committed relationship? Okay. How many of you have tried to change your partners in that committed relationship? Okay, you know how hard change is. Now, the reason why I come back to expectations is because part of what makes it so hard to change is that we start expecting the worst of each other. And that's the situation we're stuck in right now. Yeah? Parents expect the worst of teachers, teachers expect the worst of parents, The public expects the worst of unions, policymakers expect the worst of the public, we're all expecting the worst of each other, and worst of all, sometimes we expect the worst of students. And we don't expect enough of students. Can I ask all the students in the room to stand up just for a quick minute to be acknowledged and recognized? Please. So to lay the foundation for change, we need to change our expectations. We need to allow each other to change. But high expectations not going to be enough either. Okay, we're going to do something else, which is we got to speak hard truth to each other. All right? A true friend is someone who tells you, hey, you get hanabata on your face. Okay? We need to be that friend to each other, especially in this realm where it's so hard, where we're going to talk to the teacher of our kid or our cousin who is a parent of a kid that's struggling. We need to learn to speak that hard truth to each other. Okay? And the third and the last thing is we need to be far more organized than we are right now. It would be fantastic if everyone in this room took an individual action that's been recommended, went over to that booth and made a pledge, made a commitment and followed through, but it wouldn't be enough. We need to be organized. We need to be as organized as the system, which is not an evil system, it's not a bad system, but like all systems, it takes an enormous amount of energy to change. Just like it takes an enormous amount of energy for us as individuals to change. And for that energy to be manifested, we got to be way more organized. So I'm changing the action step. Okay, the action step I'm going to suggest to you folks is we have a phone number you can text into. It's 801-901-3995. And all I'd ask you to text in, if you want to be more organized, if you want to be more connected to the people in this room, and if you want to be organized to speak out in an organized way on issues, at the school level, at the policy level, I'd ask you to text in 3 things: your name, your email, and your zip code. And the last one is so critical because for us to perform, to take organized, concentrated action to change and support not only schools but the system, we're going to have to know where each other are. And we have to be organized in that way.